Well, Nigeria's tax system just got its biggest shakeup in decades. President Tinubu has signed into law 4 major tax reform bills in what the presidency is now calling a game changer for Nigeria's fiscal future. Our State House correspondent Nifemi Oguntoye is live for us in Abuja. Also joining me now is head of news operation TVC News, Uzona Onoye. Uzona, very rocky journey to where we are right now, months of political tension and controversies. But Nigerians still need some explainer as to what these 4 laws actually mean.
Yes, as a matter of fact, in the next few minutes, I'll just run through a few of the areas that concern most Nigerians. And number one is that this law signed today has supremacy or supreme power over all existing laws that relates to tax in Nigeria. Section 2202 of the law says this act shall take precedence over any other law. If you read it down, it explains that all other laws have been subsumed by this particular law signed by the president today. And it means also that 11 existing acts have been revoked by this particular law, and 13 acts and sections consequently amended by this same law that the president signed today. All of this may just seem academic, but the important thing for most Nigerians is here: impact on individuals, and the tax burden on low-income earners is now reduced, and the tax burden is generally spread to reflect equity and fairness in wealth distribution. That is all. This is the summary of all the people that spoke today. We are trying to capture that the current law has made it easier and simplified the tax process and not take much money from people. We get to understand it a bit more as we proceed. Now, here, that is from now, if you're earning 800,000 naira monthly, you will not pay income tax at all. Everybody has said that, and there's a gradual increment on who pays what and what you pay as your stage, on your career continue to rise. This is what it used to be before now, that once you're getting up to 300,000 naira, you are paying 7% tax. But this is different completely, that up to 800,000, you are not paying any tax at all. More direct impact on the individuals. I will read this a bit, quite quickly. Individuals who earn 800,000 or less annually, and this will amount to about 66,000 naira monthly, will not pay income tax at all. Section 28 of this Nigerian Tax Administration Act compels, this is interesting, this act compels financial institutions to furnish tax authorities with details of individuals whose monthly cumulative transactions amount to 25 million naira or more. Now, with this, you know that the more you have, the more you spend, the more tax you pay. And that makes it easier and less burdensome for people that are at the lower cadre. Section 51 of the bill exempts an individual, another interesting one, from paying tax on the proceeds of the sale of his residential property or land. Quite interesting. If you have, for any reason, you got broke or whatever, and you're selling your residential property, you are not going to be taxed on that amount. The next section, 50, the bill exempts compensation paid to individuals for personal injuries, such as loss of employment, and so on and so forth. You understand it now that it is easier now, but I want to quickly look at one part of taxation that worries a lot of people, and that is the value-added tax. 7.5% is retained as the value-added tax, but as we have been told, zero VAT, zero value-added tax on essential consumptions, food, medical, transportation, education, accommodation, housing. Please remember that this will not take effect until January, so that you not walk into the eatery tomorrow morning and begin to fight over the inclusion of VAT on your bill. Now, VAT is distributed across the 3 tiers of government in this manner. The federal government gets 10, local government gets 35%, that is the 774 local government areas in Nigeria get 35%, And then the states, 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory get 55%. It's getting a bit more interesting. We are heading somewhere with this. And now, for the distribution across the states, there's a sharing formula. All the states in Nigeria will share the VAT, 50% of the VAT equally. Now, 20% will go to states according to their population, and then 30% will go to states according to the consumption. That is where the VAT is being generated. That's where the contentious issue was existing until it was resolved. That suggests that states will be making more money. But let's quickly look at this before I hand over. I come back to you, Nifemi. VAT, the FAC distribution, that is federal allocation, distributed in May 2003. Let's take this first. In May 2003, VAT contribution to that money being distributed was 217.74 billion. VAT contributed this to the amount shared by the state and the federal government in May 2023. Now, states got this, local government got this, that is 230 billion, and then local government 213 billion. In 2014, 1 year after, VAT contributed 497 billion, which is almost 100% of the figure of a year before. And the states shared this, 388 billion and 282 billion. I mean, 282 billion. That is in May 2024. And now, in May 2025, just last month, VAT contributed 691.714 billion. Another whopping sum, showing that the gradual, as the days go by, VAT is contributing more to the federation account that the states share, and that also suggests that the monies that go to the states are on the gradual increase. It suggests that if state governments give a good account of the money that comes to them, Nigerians will begin to smile any moment from now. But, you know, as we know, most of these things appear brilliant on the paper, but when it comes to implementation and the execution, it becomes a different ballgame entirely.
What happens in implementation and whether or not Nigerians are able to see and feel the impact of all of these monies you're talking about. Let's bring Femi into the conversation very quickly. You had the conversation with Nifemi Oyedele earlier, who mentioned that the politics behind these have now been cleared. What's the body language from especially northern politicians who earlier on raised opposition to this proposal?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, all of them had to, you know, had to reason, had to come and look critically at the bill. At that time, they were being criticized for not even understanding the content of the bill. Some of them have not even read the bill and then went public criticizing the bill. But at the end of the day, Taiwo Oyedele had to engage with, you know, the traditional rulers, both in the north and the south, all across geopolitical zones, engage with the Northern Governors Forum. He was also at the Nigerian Governors Forum to properly educate them on the importance of these tax reform bills. You know, most of the loudest critics of the bill, especially from the north, the Borno State Governor, we had his public opposition to that bill, but eventually he also came to understand that indeed this is in the interest of Nigerians. We saw the Nasarawa State Governor also express some reservations at some point, but he also, you know, after looking at the bill critically, and their reservations also were also considered by the tax committee, Taiwo Oyedele and his team. They were able to consider, or they were able to, you know, accept all reservations, critically put it on the table, and also used it to help reshape, you know, this bill. The bill that President Bola Tinubu sent from his desk as an executive bill also had inputs from these northern governors, traditional rulers, and other critical blocks in the country. This also helped in forming an entire bill into an act as we have it today. So a lot of inputs were collected both from the north and from the south into what is now the tax reform bills, the four of them as we have it right now, Nifemi.
Gentlemen, looks like we're going to have to wait for 6 months before actual implementation. Uzana, I'm wondering what you think will be happening between now and then.
Well, I think that the average Nigerian worker should be rest assured that if this bill is properly implemented, salaries will change. I don't want to use the word increase, but it will change, because if you are being taxed before and now the tax is removed because you fall within the category that is tax-free in terms of your pay as you earn system, you are tax-free. That little amount of money that is being taken out of your salary will return as your own income. So it will gradually affect a lot of people, as according to Mr. Oyedele, he said up to 90% of Nigerian workers will see changes like that in there. And it's a welcome development. And then also, when you consider other areas like no VAT on food, medicals, education, and all of that, it's going to change the life of Nigerians, but we have to wait for that January 2026.
We have to go now, but those of you who are high earners, like Uzona Femi, should not expect much reduction in tax. He's looking elsewhere.
Who are you talking to, please?
Femi Akode, Uzona Onoye, thank you so much for your contribution
My
on
pleasure.
the news this hour.
Thank you.